I thought this was quite a tricky one. Took me 2 sessions, probably about 35 minutes each. A few clues that I really struggled with, particularly 6 down, which I didn't, it was the last one I got, and I spent ages thinking about it. 1 across, master strokes, when the trophies are played around the ring. I don't know, around the ring, I assumed was around the an O. So I thought gongs or something, but that didn't turn out to be very helpful. 4 o'clock, a paper's misprinted but is published. So it's a misprinted version of a paper's. So it's an anagram of a paper's, so it appears. So that one's not too taxing. 8 across, rural roads, the artist put back in the magazine. So we've got quite a lot going on there. And I thought it was journal, but I didn't write anything in because I wasn't quite sure at this point. Part of a sect or society to which members are attached. I remember thinking, yeah. It's going to be part of sect or society to which members, which is another word for limbs. And so I saw at the end of sect, TOR, and then or, and SO for the start of society. So I knew it was torso. So that was all right. Happy with that. 10 across, drinks for those in the nursery class. I got this one as well. I was quite pleased with myself at this point because I thought, I'm absolutely roaring through this. So tiny tots in the nursery class and a tot of rum is a drink. So I went with tots. I don't actually know whether I've got this right yet because I haven't put it in. But I'm assuming I've got it right. Manufactured quickly and securely tied up. I got this straight away. Made fast, I went for, because that means secured. Fast, made fast, so made secure, and then manufactured quickly. Made fast. 13 across. This could stretch the luggage space. So I went with a luggage space is a luggage rack, and the rack is an ancient torture method for stretching somebody. So that was good. As I say, I was pretty pleased with myself at this point. And then dramatizes part of the New Testament. Well, there's not very many books in the New Testament, really. And so once you get as far as Acts, you've done Mark, and that doesn't seem to work. Luke doesn't seem to work. You quite quickly get to Acts, and Acts means dramatizes, so that's jolly. Pleased with myself there. Bird to make a grating noise after dark. Got this one quite quickly. After dark is night, and a grating noise is a jarring sound, so I knew it was a night jar. One night turns to the flag. I was nowhere near this. I looked at it and I thought, no, can't do that. So I moved on. Pigeon house near the top of the roof. I thought about a pigeon coop, a dovecot, the ridge, so all sorts of stuff. And had to come back when I had some more letters in it. Put somehow into unusual ecstasy. I got the idea that it was the letters of put rearranged into something to produce a word meaning ecstasy. But I fiddled around and then I thought maybe it was an anagram of ecstasy because there's 7 letters in ecstasy. Then I thought it might be an anagram of unusual because there are 7 letters in unusual and it could have been unusual in a state of ecstasy, so being rearranged. But anyway, I didn't get it, so I moved on. Do they get a kick out of betting? and I got this because there's a kind of kick called a punt, and people who bet are known as punters. So I was pleased with that. And then we had negotiate as medical advisors do, and this was one of the last ones I got because I did not quite understand the clue, and in fact I don't think I understand the clue now. One down, the technique of the boat builder. Nothing immediately came to mind, so I moved on. Aristocratic clique, ill at ease. Nothing came to me for that. This is when I started to think, hang about. Drown in the lakes in Kilcarney. It seemed very specific. I've never heard of Killarney, not Kilcarney. So it must be in lakes in Killarney, and the letters, the last letter of lakes is S, and then there's IN, and then there's K, and it spells sink. So I reckoned that's probably what was going on there. Down on the surface, there's nothing to be seen in an apartment. No. Could I write some notes for this? Oh yes, apartment I thought might be APT or APP. So I fiddled around with that for a bit and got nowhere because it's not helpful. Endurance needed when one plays this. And I did get this because I thought about words that might mean endurance, and I came up with patience. And of course, there's a card game called Patience, or indeed a genre of card games called Patience. Then we had 6 down, structures exposed to radioactivity. I could get the word arrears to fit in there, but I couldn't work out whether that would be very helpful. Radioactivity, I kept going through all the elements that I knew of that were radioactive. As I say, that was the last thing that I got, and I stared at it for a long time before I got it. Descriptive of a little honeyed drink. So, alcoholic drinks I thought might be stout, but then we've got a 3-letter word, which is going to be the or and probably. And then we've got a word which could be something like syrup. Originally I thought it would be sweet here, but then the O ruined that. So nothing came to me, so I moved on. 12 down, not penalised as the result of a secret arrangement. And I did, this is my second half hour where I got this one. Not penalised as a result of a secret arrangement. Arrangement suggests an anagram of secret, which is 8 letters, so that works well. And it's scot free, which means, got away without punishment. So that worked well. I was pleased when I got that because I suddenly thought, right, you are going to be able to do this, because I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. The clergy spread far and wide. This is also second half getting this, and it occurred to me that it could be an anagram of spread, meaning clergyman, and of course there are things called padres, of which I believe my grandfather was one in the war, which is a kind of clergyman, and is an anagram of spread. So that was okay. 18 down. Stir up disagreements we hear. I did have a sense of this being a one of those homophone ones. Stir up. And eventually I came up with rouse. Initially I spelt it incorrectly with a W in the middle of it, but eventually I spelt it correctly, meaning to stir up. And also, it sounds like the word rouse, as in disagreements. So I got there. Then we have 19 down. Once worn by father in the street. And I'd written past down for for father and street and ST for street. So I had originally thought this must be past. But then I realised that it's father in the street, not by the street or on the street or something like that. So it was the S was here and the T was here, and that the P and the A went in the middle, and it's a spat, which is spats were things you wore on your shoes in the olden days. Did I get system of administration is nearly all the colonel's responsibility? This one took me quite a long time, but ultimately I did twig, that a system of administration. I knew what a system of administration was, but a colonel's responsibility is his regiment, and it's nearly all of a regiment. It's a regimen, meaning a system of administration. So then I went back up to the top, and I realised that the trophies were cups, and it's cups around the O, not gongs. It's coups. And then I looked at the end here, and I saw ship, and I got craftsmanship. So I was quite pleased about that, because that gave me the A for here. Rural roads, the artist put back in the magazine. And rural roads are lanes. Is this right? I now can't remember quite what it is, so I'll do 2 down first. Aristocratic clique, ill at ease is okay. Ill at ease is upset, and it's the upset. A clique is a set. So once I'd got that, I was all right. Oh yes, of course. Rural roads, the artist put back in the magazine, and I did think about this. Magazine is to do with guns and stuff, and so it's arsenal, as in a storage of weapons. There's also storage of ammunition. A magazine would be a storage of ammunition rather than a storage of weapons. And an arsenal is possibly a storage of weapons rather than a storage of ammunition. But anyway, I'm sure they're right about it, and I'm sure that I'm wrong. On the surface, there's nothing to be seen in an apartment. And another word for an apartment is a flat. And if you put a nothing, a 0, in the middle of a flat, you get a float, which of course means that you're on the surface, you're not sinking. Then I got this one, which I was pleased about. It's going to be, the word means a type of pigeon, and it's house near the top of the roof. Top of the roof is R, because that's the top of the word roof, and it's another word for house, home, followed by an R. So it's Homer. Where did I go next? Did I get... Oh yes, I did get this, because funnily enough, I was out in the garden, and I went to put some bird seed in the bird feeder, and I admired my irises there. And I have yellow flag irises, and then I realised that it was 1, which is I, and then Sir backwards, which is Riz. Well, Riz. So we had iris. So I've now got quite a lot of this, but I still didn't get it quite. I had to get something else, put somehow into unusual ecstasy. So I knew that put has to be in there. So that's got to be a T, because that's put rearranged inside, and ecstasy is, of course, rapture. And unusual is rare in this case. So it's put, rearranged, inside rare, making ecstasy or rapture. I don't understand this clue completely. Negotiate as medical advisors do. Now, medical advisors treat you, so I went with that, but I didn't quite understand the whole clue. Treat. I mean, you are. Is it negotiate, treat? You have treaties. Negotiators negotiate treaties. Anyway, I don't really get it. But I did decide that this was probably sweet, which, if this was and, eventually made me realise that this was short. Short and sweet. And then I stared at this for ages, and I thought about it's something to do with radios, and eventually I came up with aerials. But it took me a lot more time than it has just taken me now. Do you know, I might not use that name. I might use that one, which I've been using all summer. 1709 puts you third. I have to say, I think the people who got faster times than that. You see, if you work it out on paper and then you just type it in, you can type it in 4 minutes comfortably. But I think Camilla probably did it online in 10 minutes. And no, 6 hours 44. Of course, that just means it's sitting on your computer and you're not doing anything about it for ages and ages. But that was very pleasing. There isn't one tomorrow. Next one's on Monday. I've become quite addicted. It's rather fun. Thanks for watching.